Okay, so we obviously did our presentation on human sexuality and also diving deeper into different terms of human sexuality and different orientation and abbreviations and identifications. So first, I think it's important to discuss that our culture is becoming more and more accepting of people every day, which obviously is a good thing. But sometimes the new vocabulary is confusing and people aren't familiar with it. Sometimes that leads to misinterpretations, as well as just not knowing what to say or what not to say. According to Better Health, sexuality is sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards other people. So this means that you're attracted to, and sometimes how you express the attraction is what makes up your sexuality. So this is also your sexual orientation. But yeah. So first we have heterosexuality, which is probably the most common. It means like you're straight. It's when you're attracted to the opposite gender. Hetero means opposite. So in this situation, it would be boys like girls like boys, and that type of thing. And then we have homosexuality. So homo means the same. So this means you're attracted to others in the same gender. Girls with girls are generally called lesbians, and boys are called gays. Some people use these as derogatory words, but homosexual orientation is by no means wrong or somehow less than heterosexual or any other identification or orientation, despite what others may think. According to Better Health, around 10% of young people experience homosexuality during puberty. And then we have asexuality. So according to Better Health, ACEs, which is another word for, or like a common term for describing asexuality, people who are asexual experience very little or no sexual attraction, no matter the gender or gender expression. This is not to be confused with abstinence or brain tumor of some kind. That's super important to note, because a lot of times people think that like if you're not attracted to anything, then you have something wrong with you. But you don't have something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just you are asexual. Asexuality is just as real as hetero or homosexual beings. Aces may find others physically attractive. So you might think that someone's beautiful, but that doesn't mean you necessarily want to have sex with them. Other types of asexuality include demisexuality, which according to Better Health means that they're able to have a strong emotional bond with someone, which will eventually lead to sexual experiences. And the U.S. News claims that 1% of the population is asexual.
Pansexuality. Here's another new one for you. According to GLAAD.org, pansexuality is the attraction to all gender and gender expressions, despite being born that way or not. Pan means all and is almost the opposite of asexuality. Anyone and everyone can be an attraction for pansexuals. Think Progress reports 7% of youth identifies as pansexual. Other examples of different sexuality or orientations. Of course, there are many other sexual orientations not mentioned, including bisexual, genderqueer, and so on, but the list will keep growing as more and more people discover who they are and who they are attracted to. However, sexual orientation should not be confused with gender expression like transgender. Being transgender has nothing to do with sexuality. A woman who identifies as a man can be attracted to men as well, but that does not mean his gender identity is related to his sexual attraction. They are two different things. Discrimination. It is important to mention that people who identify as other than heterosexual, meaning they belong to LGBTQ+, are discriminated against every day. Sometimes they cannot find work or are outcast from their families when they come out. This can lead to self-harm, depression, addiction, anxiety, and even suicide. Psychology Today estimated 20% of sexual minority adults have attempted suicide compared to 4% of the general public. Resources and helpful tips. It is up to you to make a difference and support those who are coming out as something other than heterosexual. People are people no matter their orientation, and no one deserves to feel worthless. If you or someone you know needs help coming out and all that goes with it, please call the LGBTQ plus hotline at 888-834-4564. In conclusion, hopefully this information answered some questions about sexuality and orientation, as well as gave you an insight into a few lesser-known sexualities. It is important to be aware of those who are different than you and know what they mean when they tell you their orientation. Don't forget to treat each other with respect no matter their sexuality.